Good evening. It's your Monday night edition of Not Another Rangers podcast. And in the last 10 days, we've had 4 wins, 14 goals, 1 conceded, three of those away from home. And as we lead up to a big week, Scott, is he back? Is it Clement you trust?
Don't be silly, Gary. I'm not on the train yet. I told you last week. Listen, I'll take every game as it comes, and we've had 3 good performances. As in we get scored a few goals, we've got the points in the bag, good away result in Europe. But this is what we should be doing. Just because we can beat Ross County and Kilmarnock, do you know what I mean, away in Europe, doesn't mean I'm back in the come on bandwagon. I think it's what we should be doing. To be honest with you, I've got to give him a bit of credit for what he's done, but he's also sorted out some of his own mess, because I would say, I'm not saying he caused it, but he was too stubborn at times with certain players. And obviously having had you back in Daniel was a big plus. So we're going to that more, but I'm not on it yet. But let's see what the next few games and see what happens.
And anyway, hello. Before you start that, so hello Scott, how are you anyway? So I was just thinking about Clement there, and your love of him made me ask that question.
I'm on the bit like daft. I'm just down to work. I was just going to 20 past 8, so I've just shoved this on and sat down. So
good. We'll come to Ricky then, see how he is.
A bit brutal the night, Gary, man. You were right into care there. Right in with the dagger, mate. Give the guy a chance to sit down and say hello. And how you doing, Gary? How was your weekend? But no, all good, mate. For me, very good. Yeah, I had a good weekend off. I've been doing an office job, so we got a weekend off. So nice to tour around Abu Dhabi this weekend. So, and Rangers won 3-0. So pretty much a good positive weekend until Clement went and ruined it.
And we'll come to some of that as the evening goes on. So we will talk a little bit about the game yesterday, and I say the 4 wins. It's been a good period. But we've also got a big week ahead of us, a really big week ahead of us, and we'll talk a lot about the Tottenham game and potentially the Celtic game from there. So 3-0 win, comfortable performance. I think, if I remember rightly, only Celtic and Aberdeen have beaten them this season, and both of them are quite tight games. So I think probably it's one of those things that shouldn't be sniffed at, to go away from home in any Scottish domestic game, win comfortably 3-0. Not an awful lot to be concerned about during the game.
Just to be a Ricky.
Oh, that's why I said Scott during it.
Oh, my sound's not great. I don't know if it's me or if it's you, but my sound's not great. To be honest with you, I was in the game quite confident. I said that last week after the Kilmarnock performance. I was going to this quite confident, and I thought, got a good chance here, because I'm seeing something different for the team, Gary. We're attacking more, we're creating more, and the boys seem to be having a smile on their face, some of the players, which didn't have previously. So I was looking forward to this game, and I thought, to be honest with you, I won't say it was the best game we've ever seen, because it wasn't, but I thought we were decent. We scored 3 goals, should have been more. County were in it, bits and balls, but never really threatened us, apart from Jack Butland maybe having a wee mistake and sort of bailed them out. But apart from that, I thought it was a good away performance from us, which we should be doing.
Yeah, solid. And Ricky, Scott said something there that we pick up on. They look confident. They looked as though they were enjoying themselves. They looked as though some of them are at the weight of the world lifted off their shoulders in the last few weeks.
The goals help, Gary. There we go. I said that this team, when we get goals, you can see the team grow with confidence. But to be honest, I think a lot of things have happened at the same time, and you have to give the manager a little bit of credit. But I think it's more, if you look at all the things that have happened at the same time. Tavs came on to a bit of form, so the rest is done on the world of good. Suter all of a sudden is the defender we all hoped that he could be. He's not making mistakes. He's not made mistakes. I think the Scotland thing really helped him to give him confidence. He played against some big players, some big teams, and that did him the world of good. Raskin is bang on for him. I think this is the best for him we've seen from Raskin. This is the player that we heard about and we hoped that we were getting when he came from Belgium. So that's came together. What else? Yeah, up front, I mean, Igamane, a new star is born, boys. I don't know if Kerr's on the Igamane train, but I am certainly. I'm driving it. I've got the uniform on. Choo-choo, Igamane, the new Morelos. Let's go, baby. He was fantastic at the weekend. And to speak about the game, Gary, I mean, these places are hard to go, even under Walter Smith in the good old days and everything, you remember going up to Inverness. It was always a tough game up there, and it is for most teams. You know, we got quite lucky with the weather. It was a bit better than we got the tail end of the storm, the latest storm, so the weather was a bit better up there. But the performance, perfect away performance, 3 goals, clean sheet, and we all wanted something to take into the cup final, and I think we've got that now. The team has got a bit of confidence, and I'm not going to say confident or speak about, oh, we're going to win or we're going to do this, but it's just good for us to take something into this week, because if it had been 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, we would have been dreading this week. But suddenly we've got a bit of confidence, and let's see where that takes us.
As you say, football can change very, very quickly, and confidence is such a big thing. I'm just going to pick up this question from Paul. So, and I'll ask you, Ricky, just to stick with you. Raskin again has been at the heart of, well, he's played every week since the upturn in form, I think. So, how impressed have you been over the last few weeks with him?
Very impressed, mate. It's his best form since he came to Rangers. He's got a little bit of the Barry Ferguson about him. I think Ferguson was maybe a bit better on the ball and his passing was a bit better. But I actually think that, I don't know if people will agree, maybe put in the comments, I actually don't think him and Barron works that well, but I don't think it's Raskin's fault. I think Barron, okay, maybe in some games, but I think Igamane would maybe work better with Raskin, and I think Barron looks a little bit, he's been fantastic since he came to Rangers, but I think he looks a little bit lost now in our midfield. I didn't think he had a great game at Ross County, and I think Igamane suits the balance of the midfield. And it's nothing against Barron, that's just life. Raskin's came in, his form's been fantastic. So for me now, he says that 6 is his best position. So he's shown the best form since he came to Rangers, and we need to keep him in that number 6. And the most important thing is we need to keep him fit, because he has made a massive difference to the team.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. So go back to the game, Scott. The team lineup came out. There was one change, Barron for Igamane. Vaguely remember somebody saying that might have been the team they predicted to. I don't know if Scott, you remember?
I said only one change. Remember, I said only Barry would come in for Deal. That's the only change I said to Tottenham.
So you were 100% right in that, and so happy with the team lineup. Happy with what it went with. Did you expect more rotation? Well, you didn't, obviously, just the one. But
I don't know. I think when you've got a team playing well, yeah, he's going to change it at times. But I think sometimes go with what you know is working. Because he knows Thursday's coming up, Gary. He knows actually Danilo can't play. No. So that's a rest for them. And I think sometimes chopping and changing too much can cause, I'm not saying disharmony, but it can cause a bit of the performances dropping a game, because players might be playing different positions, or players playing with different people, especially at the back. It's like, right, I know Suter's going to be there, but who's his partner? Probably Thursday night will be proper again, because I would rest Balogun for the cup final. But if your team's working, you're playing well and you're scoring goals, why change it? Do you know what I mean? Just keep going, because don't break. If it's working, then it's no broke. Just keep it.
Yeah. So stick with you then. So the first was it 6 minutes? I think we had a couple of chances before that, a couple of shots from Czerny and things. We started well, quite dominant, and then I think for a cracking ball across, I'm going to highlight this because I like to pick up some of the good stuff Tav does, obviously. But a quick drilled ball across the Hefty, which opened up the pitch. Him and then Igamane moved it very quickly between them. And Igamane hits a shot that took it the biggest deflection anybody's ever seen, apparently, if you listen to the TV. But a very slight nick and into the back of net. Really good strike. Hardly any back lift, Scott. I think excellent start.
It was, like I said the other night, he plays off the cuff, doesn't he? He tries something because he thinks there's a shot on here, I'm going to go for it, and he went for it. It took a deflection, but how slight was that? The longer the game went, the bigger the deflection got, man. It was like it went the park and came back in at one point. No, listen, that's what he's doing just now, because he's playing my boy, he's still learning. I said he's still raw, he's playing off the cuff. It's when he gets older, he stops doing anything, do you know what I mean? Because he doesn't want to lose possession or try it outside either. And that's what you like about young players, because they're willing to give it a go. They're willing to say, if you don't take a shot, how do you know I'm not going to score? So he done it, and he scored against Kilmarnock, and then he scored that one. Listen, he's playing me lots of confidence, and that's what I love to see. And the deflection or not, I still think it was going to was goal anyway, because deflection didn't cause that much issue. So no, it was a great strike, and he doesn't even take a lot of what you say backlift. He just strikes it, doesn't he? He's very good at just hitting the ball dead on. He's really good at it, young guy. So hopefully more to come for Igamane.
And Rick, I've got to stick with you for Igamane, right? So as I say, I think Scott says it's no fear. It's not megging people left, right, and centre. And I like the way, I think I said to my daughter at one point, he turns and faces people up very quickly. So he's actually, as opposed to looking to play the ball back, he just turns and tries to go on the ball and drive at them. So in terms of his overall game, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, boy, he is. He's obviously a lot of a different player from Morelos, but if you remember when Morelos came in, he was very unpredictable as well. Before he became the big battering ram number 9, you could see that he was good at like the ball at his feet and holding it in, and he was a bit. He didn't know what he was going to do. So I saw someone saying that he's got a bit of the Michael Moles about him. I think that's going a little bit. But no, I see. And the thing, what I really like about him is he's suited to playing on the left. I actually prefer him on the left as I do. I think him and Danilo and Hadji work. I really like Hadji on the left as well. I prefer him much better on the left than I do the right. And I think the three of them work really well together. And Igamane is so unpredictable. Apparently in the warm-up, he was nutmegging every single member of staff in the warm-up, you know. He just loves nutmegging people. So that's the sort of character you want in the dressing room. Obviously, the guy doesn't speak a word of English. Where have we heard that before? But it's great to see a bit of personality, young personality in the team, a young kid with no fear. And he was man of the match. Except for Danilo's dad, he was absolutely man of the match. They two had a great 90-minute competition to see who was going to get there, and apparently he got a bottle of whiskey. So I think Danilo's dad had a bottle of whiskey before the match, but it was good. He was man of the match, and you've got to remember, man, it's not just a flash in the pan. This is him starting to get used to Scottish football. He started doing it in Europe first. I mean, his 2 goals. Remember, his 2 goals against Nice were unbelievable. So I actually think we've got a gem on our hands here. We just hope he can stay fit. He's built like a tank. Get behind him. Keep him in the team. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to have games. Look at Czerny at the weekend, you know. Not every player's going to play brilliant every single weekend. He's going to have games where he's a little bit poor, but the fans just need to stick with him. Don't get on his back. Give him time to mature, which is not like Rangers fans to give anyone time. But just be calm with him, be patient, and I think we've got an absolute gem on our hands.
No, he looked excellent. And as you say, he plays with no fear. He's playing the game as though he's enjoying it, and hopefully that doesn't get beaten out of him when coaching becomes too intense and it's positional play and it's all this sort of stuff that can get in the way of that maverick style. So first 15 minutes, we play well. Czerny's a couple of other shots at goal, if I remember rightly, but we're quite cruise control. Scott, the next 15 minutes is a little bit like Wednesday night when we start with the good first 15 minutes, a relatively poor, well, quite average second 15 minutes, and then a stronger last 15 minutes again, the first half.
We're going to get that in games, Gary. It's being in possession, you take your chances when you create them, and that's what we were doing the last couple of games. You're not going to control a game for 90 minutes. No team can do it, you know it yourself. So when you have possession, you create chances, but take them. And that's what we did. Like I said, I didn't think Ross County, they huffed and puffed, but they didn't really do a lot.
No.
I know that the commentators were saying they might be doing that, and maybe a threat coming for here, the boy up front heel, but he felt to deceive for me, I think. I thought we were comfortable. Like I say, apart from Jack Butland, maybe didn't know where to kick the ball, and eventually kicked it just away, and it Suter saves his bacon, basically, but no, I thought we were comfortable.
I mean, he's kicking just as a side, but it's ropey every time I watch it. I don't know if whether he doesn't focus properly, whatever. But every game there's a piece of a bit of taking there, Scott, in terms of his kicking.
I think our goalkeeper watching him done exactly the same thing because he was the same. But listen, some goalkeepers are great on the ball. We know that ourselves with the guys who can dribble the part with the ball, dribble up part with the ball and stuff, and are dead comfortable. Other keepers aren't. That's not their game. And obviously, that is Jack's. He's good for kicking the ball when it's lying, just sitting dead. But we have to think about what he's doing. I looks up, his feet and his brain don't work together at times, and he nearly caught us. I just hope he doesn't do that on Sunday. If he gets a pass back, just launch it. I don't care when you launch it, just launch it.
Do you know? And I'm going to just on the side. So me and my daughter were watching the game on Sunday. So I was out scrolling through these. She's into all these stats. So we're reading all these stats, and there was talking about Butland's goals, was it expected goals type thing, or whatever you call it for a goalkeeper. I think he was something like -1.5. And one at the opposite end of the city, if you've watched the Hibs game, they were playing through 3 times, was something like +3s. And I think that there is a bit of a thing there, but his season's not been great, Butland, and hopefully he starts to come into a bit of form. Those moments, particularly in Celtic games, Ricky, the last couple of months.
He needs a big game, Gary. Yeah, I mean, I think he's fine. I think he's okay, and you will get away with it. I mean, some games he doesn't even have a save to make. He had a few good saves. He had that ropey moment on Sunday, but he had a few good saves as well. He had a great save, the one that was deflected off Balogun that was going in the top corner and stuff like that. But there's a few players on Sunday that need to actually become Rangers players, and you guys know what I mean by that. And Jack Butland is one. He gave the cup final away the last time, and he just cannot be doing anything like that again. He needs to keep his concentration. I still think he's a good goalkeeper, but he's at Rangers for a reason. His whole career has been like that. 1 minute he's an English international goalkeeper, the next he can't get a game for Stoke. 1 minute he's Man United, he's potentially number one, and then the next he's on the bench and doesn't get any minutes. That's the way his whole career has been. So it's no surprise he's came to Rangers, had a decent, probably 7 out of 10 first season, and then the second season it's dropped off a little bit. But I think if he can have, he needs to have a big game on. We have to be at it. Every single player has to be at it on Sunday. Forget about finances, money, whatever. We need to be at our absolute best. Every single player has to do what they're told correct, and Butland is a huge part of that, and he's got a huge part to play on Sunday.
Yeah, 100%. If you look at the last Old Firm game, he was at fault for 2 of the goals and the cup final. So it's a big game. It's crucial. It is crucial. And if I stick with you then, Ricky, we score a second goal, which was actually probably a better finish. I thought that they probably gets credit for it. It wasn't the easiest of angles when they eventually put in. Good pressing. The keeper obviously makes a bit of a mess of it, but that happens. You see that regularly. If you watch Southampton, anybody watches Southampton, the Premier League, there's a goal practically every week from him trying to pass the ball out to nobody.
It's called the Pep disease, mate. That's what it is. It's the Pep Guardiola disease. Every team is trying. I don't understand it. I mean, even I thought the commentary, by the way, from Sky, Neil McCann, I thought both of them, that walking heart attack he's sitting next to, were absolutely terrible on Sunday. They were as bad as RTV, both of them. But they were on about like Ross County, like we're back in the game and stuff like that. I thought after we scored, we had a few good chances. Czerny had a few one-on-ones. He had a bad game and he should have scored. And then we needed that goal, and it was perfect. It was perfect timing. Both the goals were perfect timing. A nice early goal, and then get that second to take it. And it makes a massive difference to the match. And Danilo was fantastic, doing what a striker should be. Charged in at the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper, what he was trying to do. I mean, why does he not just kick it long from the goal kick? Why do they play it out to play it back to him? To kick it long is like, it's so. If I was a manager, you'd be pulling your hair out, literally, honestly. But anyway, for us, it was great. He made a mistake. Danilo, fantastic, powerful, charged the goalkeeper down. Walter agrees. We needed that goal. Fantastic.
So while your dog's sleeping and or grunting or nodding his head to whatever Ricky's saying,
lying sleep.
As he lies sleep. So second half comes and it's pretty comfortable. I mean, I'm not going to say I remember vastly amounts, but we had plenty of possession. Other than the first 10 minutes, we had a free header, which was far too free a header, which was straight at Butland. And another corner. Other than that, I don't think they had much to offer. We had a few chances.
You had a shot deflected, which I really good save by Jack Butland.
Don't know the first half. Is that second half?
I can't remember, Gary.
First half. It was the first half. I think it was at 1-0. It was the first half.
Aye.
Yes, man, my brain's pickled.
So second half's pretty controlled, pretty comfortable. We bring on a number of subs. So from 70 minutes onwards, I think Sterling, I don't know what order, Sterling, Bajrami, Dessers, Igamane, and maybe somebody else that I can't think of. Dow, all come on. So they all come on. We're seeing the game out. It's quite comfortable. And then we get a third goal. Scott, talk us through this moment of genius.
I will say, I have to say, I'll give Danilo a bit of credit for his finish. I thought it was a great finish because He could easily missed that, or he could hit it off the keeper because the keeper was diving back, but he hit it probably the place he had to hit it. Anywhere else, the keeper probably saved it. He could have hit the post. So it was a great finish because you think it's easy, but it's not. When you're a striker running through like that, it's in the back of your mind, I'm going to miss it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we've seen it happen before, so he took his chance well. And I have to say, he's getting better game by game. His movement's getting better, his link-up play's getting better, and he's getting in the box more. And I think the more he plays, the better he'll get. I think there's a good partnership between him and Igamane forming. Cherny as well. I know he wasn't bad on Sunday. He just wasn't like his usual self. You've seen the last few games before that. I thought he could have used his left foot more on Sunday. A couple of times he went on his right instead of going to his favoured left and curling it in. But listen, he has his games, didn't he? But he was still involved. And Tav's goal, as soon as you hit it, Gary, I know you're going to be celebrating here and you'll probably jump up and win again and that just shows what you've done. But as soon as you hit it, listen, he hit it spot on. It's a great strike. He just fall right through and just went in the back of the net. But after all the good work he done in the game, I thought he played well. I thought his goal was taken well. He plays on Thursday night maybe, but on Sunday he's on the bench for me.
Yeah, and we'll cover that as the week goes on. I think it's a tough one, because I'm not going to get it. It's the whole story about that. The old Maeda, he's actually scored more goals against Celtic than Maeda scored against Rangers in the same amount of games, but that's a story for another night. But I really
nightmares, as Ricky says, and I agree with him.
So I'm going to pick out a couple of players just because they're in my head. So you talked there about Cherny, and then I think you mentioned earlier Ricky, Barron. So Cherny, Barron, were pretty average, and I think that was the worst people got was average. I don't think the end was bad, which was a good thing, but they probably didn't really get into the game that much.
Yeah, I agree, and that's okay. I mean, Cherny's got loads of brownie points in the bag, man. I mean, you see a few people going for him on Twitter, which is just the madness of the world we live in nowadays, mate. But I mean, he's a winger. He's not going to be. Cherny has been fantastic. His return, his assists, his goals. So if he has an off day in Dingwall and then does the business, for me, he is absolutely solid as an athlete. So he plays Thursday and Sunday for me, no problem. There's a few players that I would pick that will be able to do it, no issue, and he's one of them. And I'm sure he'll be back on form against Spurs, and I'm sure he'll be back on form on Sunday. Barron is a strange one. I know Wolf is arguing in the comments, and that's fair enough. That's his opinion, but I just think that Barron has not. He absolutely got lost in the Old Firm game at Parkhead, and the whole team absolutely sunk that day, and that's fine. But we can't afford any passengers, and I know people are saying Dio's a bit lightweight, Dio's a bit this, Dio's a bit that. For me, Diamande gives the team a bit better balance, and I just think Barron now with the way, and that's what happens. The way that the team has evolved, and these players have all came into form. It's you're going to get players are going to have to fall to the bench unless they up their levels, and that's Dessers, that's Barron, that's Bajrami. Man, Bajrami's a big money signing, and I'm fine with him sitting on the bench because he's going to get a chance. Haji's suspended, he's going to get a chance again. So we need these players now. They need to step up the level if they want to get back into the team, and that's the way it should be at Rangers. That's what they've got across the city. They bring on 5 players, and it keeps the tempo of their team at a certain level. And we are now. I mean, you were on about on the last pod. We're getting Matondo back. We're getting Cortez back. Suddenly, we've got five players on the bench that could all be starters, and that's good to see. And one thing I'll say, hopefully now we're starting to see what Comont was on about with the injuries, touch wood, because we seem to be getting players back, and we seem to be going through. I mean, this is a heavy period of games, and everyone seems to be staying fit. So fingers crossed, all of this mad stuff he was saying before, maybe he was the oracle, and we were giving him a bit of too much stick at the time, and we are starting to see the cryo chamber earning its money and stuff like that at the training ground. So hopefully we can keep all these players fit. And if Barron wants to get back in the team, he needs to up his level. Simple as that.
I think you're probably right. You know, if you're picking Rangers' strongest team, it's probably Diamande and Raskin, isn't it? Before, and that's fine. That's for that one-off game. So I was going to pick up Scott Dowell, come on, and Sterling comes on Sunday and goes right midfield. Surprisingly, when you thought it would have been another way about, Tav would have moved forward and Sterling would have went right back. But also on Wednesday night, Dowell came on and went right midfield. It made me think about McCausland sitting on the bench and having been sitting on the bench for a number of weeks now. And that's 2 games when the game's been won and he's not managed to go off.
Listen, I like Ross McCausland, but I don't feel his future's us. I think he's just below what we need. But I think he could have a good career somewhere else. I could be wrong because you could prove me wrong. And listen, if he did that, it'd be great because I like him as a player. But I just feel we need better than Ross. We need better than Kieran Dowell, but we also need better than Ross McCausland. As for Barron, I feel Barron started the season really well, but he was put into the default 6 position, which wasn't his position. Do you know that way? He came for Aberdeen. He always kind of really played the 8. And I hate 8-10s and 8-6s. I'm an old school person. If you're a midfielder, you're a midfielder. But he came to us, and because nobody was there, he had to play the sitting role, which he done really well. But now Rassen's come in, and we see somebody getting back into consistent form and probably a level higher than Barron's doing at the moment. But to me, Barron plays before Deal. Deal's not offered anything for me. He's not offered enough for me. I'm not even going to go into what it costs because that's not his problem. That's the club's getting that fee. But he has to offer more. And if you're getting a kick final on Sunday, I'd rather have Barron in there fighting and Deal in there being a passenger. That's just my opinion.
Ricky, you want to retort there? It feels you want to retort on it.
No. I mean that's it. I mean that's what football's all about, mate. It's all about opinions, 100%. I'm not sitting here going, oh no, I'm not going to argue the point because at the end of the day, both things can be. I think both opinions are on this in this situation are absolutely fair. Tav starting at right back, that's no fair. That's we'll debate that on Friday. You can get that right in the bin because that will cost us the game. But Barron and my only concern about Barron is the midfield is the most important part of the pitch on Sunday night it is, which is weird for a Celtic game. The midfield is the most, and they have had us on toast since Gerrard in midfield, you know. So we have to get the balance in midfield right, and Hadji has to play. I would play. I know folk are going, oh, he doesn't have the legs and everything. Hadji, Igamane and Danilo, they're like they are the real three amigos, you know. They're like working fantastic together, so they have to play. So it is a hard decision to make. So if Barron plays, I'm fine with Barron playing, but he has to have a massive game again on Sunday. As a lot of players do, he has to have a big game. So does Diamande, but I just think in my head I can see Diamande having. I've got more confidence in him than I do with Barron, and that's not based on anything because I agree he's flattered to deceive, everything like that, but I just like that balance a bit more. I thought it worked better against Kilmarnock, you know, and I know it's a different game on Sunday, but I just like that balance a little bit more.
Celtic are quite physical in the middle of the park. Diamande got tossed a bit like some washing. He's no physical enough, isn't he?
They've got a Tati. A Tati's about 3 foot tall, man. He's the same as Diamande.
And as in Europe, like somebody says in the comments, which is spot on, when you get time and the ball in space, he plays really well. And the goal he scored in Nice was superb because he just took a chance it was over the guy's head, and his goal was a great touch into the back of the net. But I think in tight games against opposition who are in your face and they're constantly on you, pressing you, he goes down blind alleys and he loses the ball too much for me. Whereas corner, he might lose the ball, but he'll want it back. Deal doesn't do that. And I feel we can't afford to lose midfield, but I agree with you. So we're asking something, you give Conor Barr instructions and say tidy up what he can't tidy up. You've got Hadji there, he can create, just rely on your front four. We can't go in there and be 2 down again after the first half an hour or so. We can't.
So, Ricky, we're going to pick back something, and it's just picking up this comment from Ross. Bajrami plays number 10 Thursday. It made me think about Bajrami in general. You know, £3.5 million signing. He's on the bench, which is fine, but he's on the bench because Hadji's taking his position. Now, Hadji's not a winger either, and neither was Bajrami. I suppose the question is really about how do we get Bajrami back in the team? Because that level of quality, that level of player sitting on the bench is probably not ideal for us or for him. So how do we find a place?
Good question. So against Tottenham, absolutely fine. I mean, there you go. You're playing in the number 10 position against a good team. Go and show us what you can do, mate. If you play a fantastic, if he has the ability to turn up against Spurs, run the show, and give the manager a huge decision to make on Sunday. And that is the dream scenario. Moving forward, again, I don't think Raskin is okay in midfield. When we play Motherwell at home, St Mirren at Ibrox, you can play Bajrami and Hadji. You don't need we have. You can tell one fullback. Not all both fullbacks need to bomb forward. If you're worried about like a sitting midfielder, you can play Bajrami, Hadji, Raskin behind them, and then when in defence you just leave a fullback sitting with two centre backs, and you're covered with three at the back anyway. This obsession with Rangers that you need two holding midfielders or you need this number 8, like Kerr says, a midfielder is a midfielder, and they two could absolutely dominate games in Scotland, and it would be absolutely fine. So for me, and the season, we've got so many games coming up, but there's a flip side to Bajrami. We've got so many games coming up. His form completely dipped out on the left, and he's a little bit in the same boat as Igamane, as we're starting to make excuses for him. And to be fair, he's not really had a shot in the number 10 position. But when he comes into the team, we need to see it now. There's no more hiding in games, and 90 minutes goes past and you're thinking to yourself, what did he do? You're trying to write your ratings. What did he actually do in the match? He needs to do what Hadji's done. He needs to come in. We need to see some assists. As the Albanian guy on Twitter screaming because Hadji's took his place, which is quite funny. Hadji's crap. What's he playing? Bajrami should be playing. So it's quite funny. So let's see him in the 10. He's got his chance now. Let's see what he can do. He's got some big games coming up, and it's all there for him. No excuses. These players that are out the team are going to get minutes. They're going to get chances. So let's see it.
I think it's difficult, Gary, because Bajrami's been playing we kind of had a rigid formation. Now the front three are kind of interchanging. And Hadji doesn't stay in the 10, he goes out wide. Igamane goes out wide as well, comes in. Danilo does it. Cheney's been doing it. Whereas when Bajrami was there, he was always out on the left. We didn't really interchange as much as we're doing at this moment in time. But Hadji's jersey to lose, I'm afraid, because you can't block somebody who's playing well.
Do you think we have changed our tactics in, or do you think it's just that the different players do different things?
I think different players do different things. I think Danilo has played with Cheney before, hasn't he? So I think they've got a good understanding. I think Igamane's just, like I say, he plays off the cuff and he kind of links up with everybody. And Hadji's just intelligent. He's not the quickest, we know that, but you don't have to be quick. There's a lot of football players out there aren't they quick, but if they go upstairs, that's quick enough. He's always a step or two ahead. You've seen that on Sunday when they try to put the ball back to Hefty who stopped running. But if they kept running, they'd have been through, do you know what I mean? So I think they have just had to off really well. And if it's working, you don't mess with it until it starts to not work or somebody gets suspended or somebody gets injured. So you keep it where it is. And Bajrami will get his time to prove himself. But at this moment in time, you're going to have to wait. He'll probably play Thursday because Hadji can't play. But apart from that, when Hadji's fit at this moment in time, listen, and I was the one that said he asked to leave and they wouldn't have to come back after all the carry on in the summer. But he's here, he's got his shot, and he's proven me wrong with his performances at this moment in time. So let him keep his shot until he does something different.
So before we finish off with this, Ricky, from the game on yesterday, I can't remember what it was. Press conference after it has gathered some attention where Cabon talked about the financial disparity, I think is the word to use, from Tottenham, and I never heard it, so arguably it's Celtic as well, the way he was talking. Probably ill-advised comments when you've just beaten Ross County with a budget the size of probably us three combined. Or if you're in Abu Dhabi, you're going to get a lot more than Ross County. So it's maybe not the wisest of comments leading up to a big game.
Gary, honestly, Sunday, excited for the first time in ages like last week. Excited to watch Rangers. 3-0 victory, great away performance. Happy, thinking, oh yes, the AGM's over. How can Rangers screw us over and disappoint us? and then you listen to his interview on Sky. And what he said was the Celtic and Spurs are financially out of our league, meaning we shouldn't be competing with them, but we'll try our best to compete with both of them. Now, it's bad enough if he was saying that about Tottenham. Tottenham are behind us, and they've played the same amount of games in the Europa League. They got beat by Galatasaray. They drew in their last match against Roma. They're not having they've lost. I'm sure some of you watched the Chelsea game yesterday. They lost, I think, 3 or 4 players. Their manager's under pressure. He's all over the place. He's trying to play this mad football, and the fans are on his back. And now, what Coman should have been saying yesterday was, we've had a fantastic week. The team is starting to gel together. We've got a great week. We're so looking forward to these matches this week. The team is confident, and we're going to go out and give it our best shot. That's what he should have said. What he said to me, honestly, his statement about Celtic, that was one of the worst comments I've ever heard from a Rangers manager in all my time watching Rangers. The media team need to teach him about caravans and dogsmen, because even if he's coming up with these sort of wild statements, is better than pretending that suddenly we can't compete because teams have got more money than us. So let's just turn up. Instead of blue, red and white, let's just wave white flags on Sunday because we don't have as much money as Celtic. Come on. Walter Smith, look at the teams. Look at the team. Celtic had a lot more money when Walter, the second time when he came back, was going against them. They had, and he knew that. They had better players. He said, you watch all the interviews and the statements with the players that used to play in the team. Walter knew that, but he used to have every single player ready to run through a brick wall by the time they ran out on that park, and there's no way Celtic were going to beat them. Okay, he took a few beatings in that at Parkhead because they had better quality players, but over the season, when it came to handing out the trophies, he was always the one that had the most trophies in the cabinet. So how this guy can be a winner in Belgium and come out. I mean, imagine the players watching that interview yesterday. I mean, Suter always looks disgusted when he's sitting next to him. Suter looks like he wants to fill him in when he's sitting next to him in that European press conference. He's dying to hit him with a right and a left. So after the players watching that yesterday with such a huge, huge week, of course, Coman is not Walter Smith, but he is the Rangers manager, and he's expected to behave as such as the Rangers manager. His job is to instill confidence in his team going into a cup final, not give them excuses before they even run out on the park at Hampden.
No, I'd agree.
And by the way, Gary, a lot of these players don't need excuses to play against Celtic, because the white flag of a lot of them is out before they even run on the park. So giving them more excuses is not what this team needs.
And to be fair, it's not particularly accurate, Scott. I mean, if you look at all the stuff, the wage bill of top clubs is comparable. You know, you've done. I mean, the argument at Tottenham, fair enough. Tottenham get multi-millions compared to us. You can make that argument. You could do it in the Europa League or the Champions League, but on a domestic level, you can't really make that argument.
They probably have got more money than us, Gary, because of the way we've been running the past few seasons, which hasn't been great. But wage-wise, that's why we've had to cut our budget, because it was far too high for what we were putting out there. But it's one of these things, just don't say anything. Just say, we're looking forward to the games, Spurs on Thursdays, cup final, blah, 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 and move on. But he also has to get a wee word. I don't know if it's maybe been, as I say, lost in translation, or he's just thick. I'm not 100% sure, but just don't say nothing at times, because you're in a goldfish bowl in the rest of Scotland that gets picked up on very, very easily. I mean, they picked up on it straight away yesterday after in the game. So just sometimes, as I think he says, best thing to say is nothing at times. It is, because he'll probably come out tomorrow and he'll go back over that statement and say he was misunderstood, whatever, and he'll come out and say, didn't mean to say that, he was talking about Spurs and Man United, he'll probably say. So this is what you're going to get. Just don't say nothing and you know, put yourself into problems. Listen, at the end of the day, it's not really going to matter about things, because Aberdeen can say it, Kilmarnock can say it when they play us, Ross County can say it when they played us on Sunday. The financial gap is, so they've not got a chance either. So it can work both ways for Kilmarnock. I know we said that a few times in Europe, but don't say any things, because it can work. It works against us as well, because basically it's saying, well, if we beat Ross County and Kilmarnock, it doesn't really mean a lot, because we've got more money than them, so we should be beating them. But if we get beat with big teams with more money than us, then it doesn't matter, because They should be beating us. So you're kind of just, it's a bad thing for us as well throughout there. So just don't say nothing. Money is a lot of money in football and all that, but don't say nothing. But especially when we get 2 big games coming up. But no, I just think sometimes, come on, he just likes to talk. And I've not been listening to him a lot recently. I only listened to it yesterday because the game it was after the game he said it. So I just want to, I don't know who does media at Rangers, but it's time you actually say to him, just be.
Just be less. It seems to be always wants to give more content than he actually needs, just as opposed to.
I think the time I've done it is when he came back in when he walked away and he came back in and slated Todd Campbell. Remember that time? It's ever since then he just likes to go and go and go. It's like you've said enough now. Don't keep saying anything else. Do you know what I mean? But the way we're listening.
The reason they've got more money than us is because they won the league, because we bottled it with 6 games to go. So let's get reality on the table. He was the Rangers manager. We were leading the league. We had it in our own hands with 6 games to go, and the players completely. He wasn't able to get that title over the line. If he got that title over the line, he would have the Champions League money. And also, we got beat by the worst team we've probably played in the Champions League in many a year in Dynamo Kiev. Okay, there was circumstances, but it was a very, very poor night for us. So the reasons are there for all to see. But he's had a hand in that as well. So come on, less of the excuses. We've got a chance on Sunday, so less of the excuses. The team's got confidence. They're quite tired. They've been playing a lot of games. They've not exactly been that convincing lately. They were honking at the weekend against Hibs. They won 3-0, but Hibs missed some amount of sitters. So be confident going into the game, you know.
So I'll start with you, Ricky. So on Thursday we play a mid-table English Premier League team.
Yep.
They're a mid-table English Premier League team. We know they're a good side, but it's Thursday nights at Ibrox. They are special. We've played better teams than them. And we have done well. So I think I want to ask you a question because I'm a little bit fascinated by this. Right? Do you think the big Ange factor is partly what's scaring people about coming up against Tottenham? It feels to me as though we're getting a lot more.
I think it's crazy, mate. It's doing my head in, and Man United as well. Man United are absolutely honking. You've got their biggest, second biggest fan behind Graham in the right hand corner there, Kerr. They're absolutely, they're honking, absolutely honking. And listen, go at them. Ibrox, huge crowd. If we get beat 4-5-0, who give? Okay, we don't want that. But I'm resting a lot of players anyway, and it's not even resting. I'm giving players an opportunity that deserve an opportunity on Thursday night, because I think we've got the quality now. We need the cup final's most important for us. So I think you can bring a Yilmaz in. You can bring a Proper in. You can bring Barron in the team. You can bring... so I think Dessers is going to play because Daniil was out. Igamane, keep him on the left. So I think we're going to have 5 or 6 changes. Massive crowd, full house at Ibrox. It's exciting. You know, I remember years ago we were joining the English Premier League every week under David Murray. He had it all planned that we were moving. So now we're playing these teams. Let's embrace it. And first day's a free hit for us almost, mate. That win in Nice for us was absolutely massive. And I've said before, I don't really give a crap if we get in the top 8 or if we get in the playoff. I would actually probably rather play in the playoff because we get a bit of extra money for a game at Ibrox, and I don't think we've got anything to fear if we are in the playoff for the next round in Europe. So, and they've got a lot of injuries coming into the game. And okay, listen, they've got good players. Don't get me wrong. They've got really Kulusevski's a great player. Song's a great player. Solanke, big money striker. So they've got good players. But let's just go for it. You know, let's have a great night at Ibrox. Fans, if you start the game well and you go after them, you never know what can happen. And imagine we beat them. I mean, I think he got the. I actually thought the way that Levy was watching the game yesterday, I actually was worried that they were going to fire him today. I was watching Sky News expecting him that he was going to get the bullet today, but I think he gave him the vote of confidence and said that they're going to back him in January. But I don't think he'll last till January. But anyway, so he's definitely going to be there on Thursday. You know.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. When I was watching Daniel Levy get panting him, and he was standing there very sullen-faced, you thought that the time was up. And I think watching the games, you know, when the they are very unpredictable, Spurs. They certainly have a lot of ability, but also have a lot of weakness or soft fragility, whatever you want to call it. They've got their two centre-halves and a number of other players are out injured, or were taken off. Two centre-halves went off injured again yesterday. I suppose, looking ahead to the game, do you know, what is your hopes and dreams and fears about it?
I don't want to be badly beaten because that could happen as well. Because they've got injuries, they're not playing well, but they've got players that we could only do. But some of these guys that they've got on their side, and if they turn up, they're really good. But the problem with Spurs is they're very inconsistent. And he's the hand thing doesn't matter to me. He's coming back. I don't care who the manager Spurs could be. It could be anybody because it's Ange. The media's making this bigger than actually what it is, just because he's coming back to Ibrox. But it just depends what Spurs turn up. It's a bit like us. It depends. We were better than that. What team Rangers turn up, because we were letting in goals, but scoring goals. We were winning scoring goals, and Spurs can a bit like Newcastle under Kevin Keegan for me. If one team scores for 3, they want to score 4. You don't know what you're going to get with Spurs. And Daniel Levy's a guy I wouldn't trust, because you could turn in and say he's best mate, and the next day he phones you and he's got a hit on you and you're sacked and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So. No, I don't know, Gary, on Thursday. I think we'll get a draw. I think that'll be the best result we'll get, because I think they've got injuries, but Spurs will want a win because I know one out of 7 or something.
Yeah.
So they'll want a win just to try and go over this period of where we gain him the vote of confidence and stuff like that. And if they get beaten Thursday, that's more a statement to Levy than losing against Chelsea. Because he'll probably rate Scottish football like most people down there do and think you should be going up there and winning by a fucking cricket score, because it's only a Scottish team. Doesn't matter if it's Rangers, whatever, it's only a Scottish team. You should go up there and winning. So if they do lose on Thursday night, I think it could be curtains. I do, because Levy's not the type of guy that gives people a chance. So I think he'll come looking for a victory. But listen, I'm not saying it's a free hit for us. I know, like I said that, I know I can get what he's saying, but I think we have to play our strongest team available and just go out and play our own game and try and get something. Because that is a big match. You don't want to go into Sunday low on confidence if you do get beat by 3 or 4 goals. Because that could happen if you don't take it seriously. So come on, has to play strongest side available and go and try and get something. And then one comes Friday morning, then you concentrate on the cup final. Before that, it's all about Europa League.
Yeah. So, Ricky, 2 weeks ago, you had a full reserve team playing against, in fact, you had the kids all playing, I think, against Spurs. Did you not, if I remember rightly? As the 2 weeks have went on, we've kind of said it, slightly stronger team. You talked a wee bit about some of the changes that can make. You've got Cropper, Sterling, Ridvan, Dio, Bajrami. Yes, there's guys like that can all play. What do you see come on doing for Thursday night?
Right, I've got my team. Are you ready? So, well, Balogun and
Football manager here.
A bit football manager here. I've got my wait till I get my B license out. So we've got Butland in goal. I would start Tavernier Suter. I think because I'm no starting Tab on Sunday, but we'll speak about that on Friday. Proper, definitely. I would play Proper. I would play because I think Balogun. We can't risk. We can't have Proper starting on Sunday. So definitely Balogun has to come out the team. Cotton Wool for Sunday 100%. Yilmaz is due a start anyway. You're speaking about a Turkish left back. He can go in. Raskin and Barron are absolutely fine. So they can play. Both of them are young. They can play Thursday, Sunday, no problem whatsoever. Bajrami in the 10. And then I'm going Cherny, Dessers and Igamane up front, because Igamane, okay, you could play him in the striker and maybe play someone on the left, but I think I really like him on the left. I think he sees the pitch and the way that he plays. And I think Dessers is. I mean, there's a player that if he takes it right, that he's out the team. Here's a chance, big game. Here's a chance for you to actually have another great performance, and then give the manager something to think about for Sunday. He won't play on Sunday, but give him something to think about. So that would be my team, and I think that's a good mixture between players that are able to play Thursday and Sunday, no problem. And then you're giving Danilo's automatically getting a rest, Hadji's getting a rest, Balogun's getting a rest. So you're resting Yefte, okay, he's been played a lot of football, give him a bit of a break. And I think the rest of them can can handle it, no problem whatsoever. The good thing is on Sunday as well, another small point is it's actually Sunday. It's Sunday afternoon, isn't it? Late Sunday afternoon. It's not 12 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Aye, so that gives the players a little bit extra time, a little bit extra resting time in that as well. So easily, for me, that's the players I would be playing against Spurs.
Scott, any difference from what Ricky's saying here? He pretty much named half a dozen changes, I think, from what played yesterday, and then half a dozen come back in again on Sunday.
Probably roughly the same apart if I would keep Yefke in the team. I wouldn't bring back Ridvan. The only thing I would do with Ridvan is as soon as January's open to see if anybody from Turkey wants to buy him. Apart from that, there's not a lot I would do with him. I don't think he's a sellable asset for us. We've not got a lot of cash, as we know. We need to bring others in, so he's one I would try and put out the door. But listen, I think that's a decent side. I think that side could cause him problems because they are dodgy at the back. They're quick, so you have to play two, as people say, two holders. You have to kind of play them because middle to front they are quick, Spurs. But defensively, the problem with Spurs is a lot of their forward players don't track back, so there's always a lot of space to plenty. We've seen that with Chelsea. One ball, I think what Lavia played, and it was 3 or 4 Chelsea players against 2 Spurs players because Spurs forwards don't track back. They don't. That's the way Ange plays. Doesn't want to track back. He thinks everybody can go up. Everybody just go up the field and attack. Don't come back. And so that's what they do. So we'll have chances. They will have chances, and I think it's going to be whoever takes their chances is going to win the game. But hopefully, hopefully we can get a draw. That would set us up nice. Plus a draw, I didn't think we would get a couple weeks ago. So I'm sitting here saying we'll get a draw. So hopefully I'm right, and I'm looking forward to the match. I think it will be a good game. It's not often you see players of this talent coming up to Ibrox and playing because we won't see them on TV and stuff. So I hope the Spurs play their strongest side possible because it's good to see players like Son and Solanke and other players have got there because they're guys you only watch on Sky Sports or if you go down to England for a match. But these guys are phenomenal footballers and it's good to see them in the flesh. It's like when we played Liverpool. Listen, I hate Liverpool. No, first to admit it, but seeing the guys in the flesh was totally different from watching the TV. See how good they are, how just quick they are in the park, how the awareness is spot on compared to some of the players we've got. So it's good to see things like this.
When I won that game as well, Goldson didn't go off injured in it half time.
We won that game. And the floodlights went off at half time.
We need to take our chances on Thursday. The Lyon game at home, we had chances before. That game looked like an annihilation, but Czerny missed an absolute open goal. We had some big chances in that match, and if we do the same against Tottenham, then we'll lose. It's as simple as that. So if we do get the opportunities, and obviously the team is in a much better place than it was a couple of months ago. If we get these sort of chances, we have to take them. You can't miss silly chances and then give, because they will probably score and they'll probably create some big chances because they're like the Harlem Globetrotters. They like to go forward. I mean, did you see that third? What is that guy doing for the penalty, for the first Tottenham penalty when it's 2-2 with 15 minutes to? What is he doing, man? Honestly, if I was his teammate, then the people go on about old school. You're fighting that guy in the dressing room because that was just so brain dead. And that's his problem is these players. It's very difficult to translate your message to these players when they're on that sort of money because they just don't care, man. You know. They make these stupid mistakes on the park, and it's just madness.
It was the one when Cole Palmer went by about 5 of them. Just somebody tackle that boy. What are you doing? Do you just let him just dance about? Just foul him outside the box. Move on. That's just
Paul Merson. I've seen Paul Merson after at Tottenham. He's talking about playing in Scotland and playing in England. A lot of people were kind of saying with disrespecting Scotland. I don't think he was. I just think he was saying that you can't play the same formation and tactics up here. The best players. And go to Tottenham and do the exact same stuff because they're playing against teams who've all got better players than you or some at the same level as you. Whereas up here you're playing against teams who you know you're going to beat anyway, but down there you can't do that. So that's the reason.
It's different if you're Man City or potentially not Man City, not a good example. Liverpool, the same way that Barcelona and Real Madrid can do that against their teams in their league, same way PSG can do it against their team. If you're the best team in that league, you can do it the same way Celtic Rangers are. But if you're top 10 at best, you can't really do that. It's because your players aren't as good as the other ones. It's good to watch, but it's good to watch, but it's not good if you're a fan.
But like
No
I say,
good if you're a fan. Care they go 2-0 up every week and lose 4-2.
and in the day, I couldn't give her that sass. I'm not a Spurs fan, so it's
I
good to
know,
watch.
but it's
Watch the
funny.
Spurs games and leave if you're a fan. Just leave at half time.
It's the half-time champions.
One of my mates, I know he's a season ago these days down in England. He's a season ago. Hold on, he pays about £1,500 a year.
Oh, it's mental, man. It's nuts.
He's like, you don't know what you're going to get every time you go to see them. He said, we can be great, we can be bad, or we can be great and bad in the same game. He said, it's so confusing. He said, but it's not just this season. He said, that's just Spurs in general.
Aye. And they're good to watch for neutrals. They're a bit like me. See if you watch like them or Brighton or Brentford, the teams like that, they're great to watch. You're never going to do anything, but the one I'd rather watch that than watch Liverpool versus Man City in a game. If it come on the telly.
It'll be a good test for us because we don't play against opposition like that. So it'll be a good test for us. And like I said, play a full team, go for it, see if we can get something. Because if we do, it gives us confidence, it gives the players confidence knowing they're playing against guys like you said, who are earning mega bucks. And some of our players never get close to that. And you get in a patch where maybe guys you only see on TV as well. So go and see how you do. Don't go out and think, God, that's son for Tottenham. I better not believe them. Go out and get stuck in and see what we can get. That's football. In the day, it's 11 against 11. Doesn't matter how much you earn or whatever. It's just go out and get stuck in and try your best. Get 100%. As long as the Rangers player gives 100%, I'm never disappointed. It's when they don't, I'm disappointed.
Aye, and there'll always be chances. So on that note, give us your score prediction then, Scott, for Thursday night.
I'm going 2 each.
2 each. And in terms of scorers, is there any in your head that's coming to you from there? Dessers, obviously, because he's back playing.
No, I'm going to go with Cherny because I missed a cut on Sunday, so I think we'll be back in form on Thursday.
Right. And yourself, Ricky?
I'll go 3-2 Rangers, great game, and I'll go Cherny. I think Desters will get a goal, and Tavernier will score first. We'll be winning 1-0, and back post, 100% back post, mate. He's back on form, back post, but he's still not playing Sunday.
Do you know when you say 3-2 there, you reminded me of a game. I don't know if you remember the Champions League game against Porto 2 years ago. 3-2. It's just what a cracking game. You know, just jumped my head when you said we won 3-2.
What about you? What about yourself? What's your score prediction?
I think that it's one of the games that's plenty of goals, isn't it? Tottenham will score goals, so I think we are looking at a 2 each, 3-2 type game. You know, maybe 4-2. It's going to be, as you say, it's chances. The game against Lyon, Tav did a great save to Tav. Cherny missed a sitter. You know, that changes games. If we can get that early goal, first 15 minutes, I think it's going to be a good night. If not, you know, it could be lose that first goal, could become a hard night. So it's really difficult to say.
Maybe time Popper's up against a Lincoln or something like
that. He's been all right in Europe. He's been all right in Europe, man. He's been all right in Europe. He's been fine. It's just Scotland. He's, as I said, he's like someone's burst a balloon and he's trying to run about the park like a dog chasing a ball, man.
He's played against good strikers with pace in Holland for years. You know, he should be able to compete against a lot of these guys. So see, the last thing I was thinking about then, so it's quite a glamorous game, right? So it's probably one of the more glamorous games we played against Tottenham. Well, no, not the best side we played against. What as you say, Liverpool and Leipzig and teams like that were my better teams, but it's very glamorous. And it made me think, Scott, what's the most glamorous game you remember being at? What's one that jumps to head? When I say what's the glamorous game you're at, what jumps to your head?
Well, I was at the UEFA Cup final. I know we didn't win it, but you can't really get any better than that, can you? I know we didn't win it, but going to a European final.
That is and Ibrox then. So what game sticks out?
Probably the Marseille game.
It's a few years ago now. So what was that?
When scored. Always remember that night. Or Scott, that's Bits go against Bruges, remember that?
Almost 1990 or something, was it? 90, 91 or something like that?
I was with you that night, Gary. You were in there.
Yeah, we were sitting there. Yep, we were sitting there. Remember that? 32 years ago. No, 31. 32 years ago.
Mental, man. I was at the other two games. I wasn't at the Marseille. I was at the other two games. I was at the Scott Nesbitt game, and then I was at the CSK Moscow 0-0. The atmosphere was unbelievable that night, but obviously we couldn't get it over the line. But that was a great campaign, you know. Beating Leeds. Barcelona, Ibrox 0-0. The Sasa Papac keeping Messi in his back pocket. I know, obviously, but I remember every time we got a throw and it was like we scored a goal, man. It was, But no, remember, to be honest with you, the best team by an absolute mile, and they absolutely tore us a new one with Waldrop and Gaza was Juventus at Ibrox.
Okay.
Del Piero, Viale, oh my God, man, Italian. I mean, they were unbelievable. They came to Ibrox, they absolutely humped us in Turin, and then they came to Ibrox and just did the same at Ibrox. We couldn't get the ball off them. They'll like to see, you're on about levels. I mean, even back then, the levels.
I was even worse in Turin.
I know it was worse in Turin, but when they came to Ibrox, you're thinking, okay, home crowd and everything. But it was the same, man. We just couldn't get the ball off them. We were just, even Dortmund were a good team back then, but it was just, and it's quite mad. It's quite mad to think, for as great a manager Walter Smith was, and as great a team as we had, he actually did better before he ended up with the superstars in his team. You know, his European campaigns were better. Well, your Durants and your McCoys and stuff like that. When he ended up with the Waldrops in Gaza, it was always. It was, but it was always a bit disappointing. It was always you always had so much hope, and you know, Gaza and Waldrop, but we were so easy to play against because they were the only two decent players we had. So you just mark them, and everyone else was worse.
One of my first European games I remember was against Inter Milan. We beat them 3-1 back in 1984.
Really?
84? Wow, Jesus. Kerr, how old are you, man? Jesus Christ.
I think that's before my first game ever.
Scored that night, and it was Ian Ferguson who signed for Dundee.
Do you know the one I was going to say? The one that popped in my head was Barcelona game as well. Do you remember watching that? And I think it was sitting next to you against Scott. That one was just watching Messi and frightened our wits every time he got the ball. Do you know? And then there was maybe, I'm sure it was about 70 minutes we started to come into the game, and I'm sure Kuzan had a chance. There was a couple of bits he thought we might actually win this year. It was cracking. But it was
Messi was just unhappy because he couldn't get by Davy Weir.
So it was.
Big Davy Weir.
Some of the players we've seen at Ibrox, even friendlies, man. I remember we played Chelsea, and I lived in Glasgow at that time, and their team bus drove past my house, and I was like, "There's 500 million at that time." 500 million worth of talent on that bus just driving past your house with a wee motorbike protecting it, you know. And that Chelsea game we won 2-0. And other Man United, I remember playing them in a friendly when Cantona got sent off and everything. Just brilliant watching these players. It's always great watching their players at Ibrox, you know, because they were just, even back then, these guys were superstars, you know.
Was that the one that Sebo scored in that Chelsea friendly?
Yeah, Chelsea, Sebo, and I think Nacho Novo, got it set. It was that the atmosphere was like a Champions League night. The Chelsea players said they've never seen anything like it, you know. I think because we had new players, and it was just incredible for a friendly, you know.
I suppose the reason I brought it up is because at the end of the day, you know, European games have something special about them, don't they?
Yes.
They create an atmosphere, they do stuff, and you know, you are meant to enjoy it. You're meant to enjoy every minute of these games, and go into it with a bit of anticipation, go into a bit of hope. And
that'll be the last Champions League campaign.
Yeah, no, but we weren't ready, mate. I mean, that was, to be fair though, I think I don't know what you two think. It's actually a good question. What do you like? Do you like this new format for European football? I really like it. I think it's cool. I like playing different teams, and okay, it feels a bit of a slog with the 8 games, but I like the different home and away. You're not playing the same team. I think it's brought freshness to it.
It's better that way. I agree with that. It's better that way because you're not playing a team home and away. You're playing different sides, and it's just like the European League. You've always wanted to try to do this first.
Yeah, no, it's certainly more enjoyable. It's something different. We'll see at the end of the season. Well, January when the top 8 and all that sort of stuff comes out, and how much you like it. But at the moment, it's different, isn't it? It's novel.
It's different. I like it. A Champions League as well. You know, I mean, they're, as much as we hate them and everything, they've got a chance because they're playing teams that you would you'd never see teams like that in the Champions League. So it's given everyone much of a bit, and you see the teams that struggle.
It's quite empty in the bank balance going to all these games.
Real Madrid are in the relegation zone.
It's difficult. PSG, there's a number of these teams are struggling in that Champions League.
PSG and Real Madrid are at the bottom to get eliminated, which is it's mad with free. Ancelotti's promising the fans that he's definitely going to get to the final, so let's see.
That's interesting. Anyway, I think we've been on over an hour. That's probably enough for tonight. We will be back in Scott's obviously just keep straight up to work, so he's wanting to get some dinner.
In my bed. Back in the work.
I've got work in 3 hours, so I'm away to my bed, man. Jesus.
So there you go. This is what we do for the audience here. So actually, people need to sleep, people need to eat.
Just stop giving us abuse in the comments, the mad people. Jesus will do this for, some people think they've got the right to say what they want. Just don't make it personal. I'll order some of the people, man.
Anyway, so we will be back on Friday night. Please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching. Thank you, Ricky and Scott, and we'll see you all soon.
Excellent.